Welcome to PC, Police Chase. Get ready, this isn't a video for entertainment, but real chases. Speed and crucial decisions will determine everything. If you're ready, let's begin. What began on a quiet rural road quickly escalated when a black pickup truck refused to stop for law enforcement. With open fields and tree lines on both sides, officers initiated pursuit, but the driver had already committed to running. The situation evolved rapidly across multiple environments. The suspect sped through narrow rural roads, weaving past driveways and residential areas, showing no intention of slowing down. As the pursuit moved into more populated zones, the risk increased, stop signs were ignored, intersections were crossed at speed, and other drivers were forced to react instantly. Then came the transition to major roads. The pickup pushed into multi-lane traffic, accelerating further as additional units joined the pursuit. What started in isolation had now become a high-risk chase through active traffic. The final phase unfolded on the highway. With multiple units coordinating, officers moved to contain the vehicle. The truck was eventually boxed in near the median, its movement restricted until it was forced to a stop. Within seconds, officers exited their vehicles with weapons drawn, surrounding the truck and issuing commands. The suspect complied and was taken into custody without further incident. What began on an empty rural road ended in a full-scale coordinated takedown, showing how quickly a single decision to flee can escalate into a multi-unit operation across entire regions. On August 18, 2023, in Palm Beach County, Florida, troopers with the Florida Highway Patrol located a white Kia Optima tied to an armed carjacking. When officers attempted to stop the vehicle, the driver didn't hesitate. He accelerated and fled, turning the situation into an immediate high-risk pursuit. The chase escalated quickly. The suspect drove aggressively through heavy traffic, weaving between vehicles, using the shoulder, and reaching dangerous speeds in an attempt to escape. Every movement increased the risk not just for officers, but for everyone on the road. Additional FHP units joined in, and a police helicopter tracked from above, coordinating movements and closing off escape routes. The suspect was running out of options, but still refused to stop. The turning point came near Jog Road. As the suspect attempted a maneuver to change direction, a trooper moved into position and executed a precise PIT maneuver. The Kia spun violently, losing control and coming to a stop with heavy damage. Within seconds, troopers surrounded the vehicle with weapons drawn, issuing commands to the driver. The suspect was removed from the car and taken into custody without further incident. What began as an armed carjacking escalated into a coordinated multi-unit pursuit, proving that even with speed, aggression, and desperation, the outcome rarely changes. On April 25, 2021, Georgia State Patrol units identified a stolen commercial truck traveling southbound on Interstate 75 over 85 near Fulton County. When troopers attempted a traffic stop, the driver made a split-second decision. He accelerated and fled into traffic. The pursuit escalated quickly across the Atlanta metro area. The suspect drove aggressively, weaving through multiple lanes at high speed and narrowly avoiding several vehicles. Despite heavy traffic conditions, he showed no intention of stopping, turning a stolen vehicle case into a dangerous highway pursuit. Troopers stayed locked in, maintaining pressure while waiting for the right moment to intervene. That moment came near Central Avenue. A trooper moved into position and executed a precise PIT maneuver. The truck immediately lost control, spinning across lanes before slamming into the barrier and rolling over onto its side. With the vehicle overturned and smoking, troopers approached with weapons drawn and secured the scene. The driver, identified as Tyrell Williamson, was taken into custody and transported to Grady Hospital for evaluation before being booked into the Fulton County Jail. What started as a stolen vehicle turned into a high-speed highway rollover, proving that when control is lost at speed, the ending is never controlled. On August 21, 2023, in Miami, Florida, law enforcement identified a white Kia Optima suspected to be stolen moving through city streets. When officers attempted to initiate a traffic stop, the driver made a split-second decision. He floored the accelerator and fled. The pursuit quickly escalated into a dangerous high-speed chase through densely populated areas. The suspect drove recklessly, weaving through traffic, passing vehicles at speed, and pushing the limits inside a city environment. At times, speeds exceeded 70 miles per hour, turning every intersection into a potential collision point. Officers maintained pursuit, waiting for a safe opportunity to end it before it caused serious harm. That moment finally came. A Florida Highway Patrol trooper moved into position and executed a precise PIT maneuver on the Kia. The vehicle immediately lost control, spinning across the roadway before coming to a violent stop on the shoulder with heavy rear-end damage. As soon as the car stopped, the suspect attempted to flee on foot, but within seconds, officers closed in, surrounded him, and took him into custody without further incident. What started as a stolen vehicle turned into a reckless city chase, ending the same way most do, with control lost and nowhere left to run. On June 27, 2023, along Interstate 530 inches Arkansas, state troopers encountered a silver sedan driving at dangerously high speeds. When officers attempted to initiate a stop, the driver refused accelerating further and committing to a high-speed escape. The situation escalated rapidly on the highway. The suspect pushed the vehicle beyond 100 miles per hour, weaving aggressively through traffic and creating an extreme risk for everyone on the road. At that speed, every second mattered, every lane change could have turned fatal. Troopers maintained pursuit, tracking the suspect closely while assessing the growing danger. Eventually, troopers made the decision to intervene. At high speed, a trooper executed a decisive pit maneuver. The impact caused the sedan to instantly lose control, spinning violently across multiple lanes before crashing into barriers and construction structures. Debris scattered across the highway as the vehicle came to a catastrophic stop. With the vehicle disabled, troopers approached cautiously, weapons drawn, and issued commands. The young male driver was taken into custody at the scene. In the aftermath, one trooper's words captured the reality of the situation. "You could have killed someone, or yourself." A pursuit at extreme speed doesn't end in escape, it ends in impact. On November 20th, 2020, around 9:58 p.m., officers on patrol near Virginia Avenue and Harrison Drive attempted to stop a red Nissan Altima for traffic violations. At first, the driver appeared to comply, then suddenly he accelerated and fled. The situation escalated rapidly. The suspect drove through multiple city streets before making a dangerous move, entering Interstate 85 and driving the wrong way against oncoming traffic. At highway speed, this wasn't just a pursuit anymore. It became a potential head-on collision scenario. Adding to the danger, a pregnant woman was inside the vehicle. At one point, she exited the car during the chaos while the suspect continued to flee. Officers attempted multiple pit maneuvers, but the suspect kept control, continuing to run despite mounting damage to the vehicle. The pursuit pushed toward Cleveland Avenue. After collisions and severe damage, including blown tires, the vehicle began to fail. The suspect finally lost momentum and came to a stop on Springdale Road. Officers approached with weapons drawn, ordering the driver out of the vehicle. The suspect, identified as Edward Lee Brown Jr., was taken into custody. After the arrest, he questioned why he was being pursued. Even as the damage and danger told a very different story. What made this case stand out wasn't just the speed. It was the decision to drive the wrong way, with another life in the car. On August 11, 2024, in Sumter County, Florida, a Florida Highway Patrol trooper attempted to stop a black BMW 330i for a traffic violation. Instead of complying, the driver made a split-second decision. He accelerated and fled, turning a routine stop into a high-risk pursuit. The situation escalated rapidly through residential areas. The suspect drove at extreme speeds, reaching over 110 miles per hour in zones limited to 35 miles per hour, running stop signs and cutting through neighborhoods. At one point, the BMW veered off the roadway and launched into the air while crossing uneven terrain, briefly losing contact with the ground before crashing back down and continuing the escape. The danger was no longer controlled. It was unpredictable. The pursuit continued until a trooper moved into position. A decisive PIT maneuver was executed, causing the BMW to lose control and crash into a tree, finally disabling the vehicle. As the car came to a stop, the driver attempted to flee but quickly surrendered. A passenger initially complied, then suddenly ran, jumping a fence and triggering a K-9 search. The driver, identified as Marlon Daquan Underwood, admitted he didn't have a valid license and was already on probation. At one point, he even said he deserved to be arrested. What started as a minor traffic stop turned into a chaotic off-road pursuit, proving how fast a simple decision can spiral out of control. On March 26, 2017, around 4 p.m. in Edmond, Oklahoma, officers responded to a reported theft at a Walmart near Santa Fe and Danforth. When police attempted to stop a vehicle linked to the theft, the driver didn't comply. He accelerated and fled southbound on Kelly Avenue. The situation escalated immediately into a dangerous high-speed pursuit. The suspect pushed speeds over 90 miles per hour, running red lights, ignoring stop signs, and even driving onto sidewalks and across medians to avoid capture. At multiple points, the driver rammed police vehicles and endangered innocent motorists, turning a theft case into a public safety emergency. Every second increased the risk not just for officers, but for anyone on the road. The chase reached its breaking point near Wilshire Boulevard. As the suspect crested a hill at high speed and attempted to brake, control was lost. The vehicle collided violently with another car and rolled multiple times, coming to a devastating stop in the roadway. Emergency responders rushed to the scene. 4 individuals, including the suspects and innocent drivers, were transported to the hospital. Fortunately, injuries were reported as non-life-threatening. The suspects were taken into custody and later charged with multiple offenses, including theft and felony fleeing. What began as a simple shoplifting incident ended in a violent rollover crash, proving how quickly reckless decisions can escalate beyond control. On May 2nd, 2024, during a nighttime patrol in Miami, Florida, Florida Highway Patrol units attempted to stop a white Nissan Altima. Instead of pulling over, the driver accelerated, initiating a dangerous pursuit through city streets. The chase quickly intensified. The suspect drove recklessly through residential areas, running red lights and weaving between vehicles in the dark. Officers stayed close, looking for a safe opportunity to end it. A pit maneuver was executed, but instead of stopping, the suspect kept going. He pushed the damaged vehicle forward and smashed through a chain-link fence, trying to force an escape even after losing control. Moments later, the vehicle finally came to a stop, badly damaged and surrounded. But the suspect still refused to surrender. That's when a K9 unit was deployed. Within seconds, the police dog entered through the vehicle window and engaged the suspect, bringing the resistance to an end. Officers rushed in immediately after the K9 contact and pulled the suspect from the car, placing him under arrest. The Nissan was left heavily damaged, front end crushed, sides torn apart from impact and escape attempts. What started as a routine stop turned into a chase, a crash, and finally, a K9 takedown. Because when running doesn't work, force takes over. On June 20th, 2024, around 2 p.m., Florida Highway Patrol troopers attempted to stop a white Mercedes on the Florida Turnpike for illegal window tint. A records check revealed something more serious. The registered owner's license was suspended. When the trooper activated lights and sirens, the driver slowed briefly, then accelerated and fled. The pursuit escalated fast. The suspect drove recklessly using the shoulder, weaving through traffic, and reaching speeds over 114 miles per hour, even in light rain conditions. He repeatedly changed directions, entering I-95 northbound, exiting, and looping back south, trying to shake pursuing units. At one point, he attempted an illegal U-turn across the median and struck another vehicle. Still, he kept going. Troopers waited for the right moment and then moved in. A PIT maneuver was executed near SR-70. The Mercedes spun violently and attempted to recover, but a follow-up impact disabled the vehicle completely, ending the pursuit. With the vehicle stopped, troopers approached with weapons drawn and ordered both occupants out. Both the driver and passenger were taken into custody. A K-9 unit was also on scene to assist. A search of the vehicle revealed narcotics including cocaine, oxycodone, MDMA, marijuana, and drug paraphernalia. What started as a simple traffic stop ended in a high-speed chase, a pit takedown, and multiple felony charges. Because sometimes, the smallest stop reveals the biggest consequences. On January 11th in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, officers identified a white Kia Sportage connected to a suspected kidnapping incident. When police attempted to stop the vehicle, the driver refused, accelerating away and initiating a dangerous pursuit.
Sorry, Kia Sportage, Victor William Boyd, 169, 1 and 4, the abduction, eastbound on Hampton, from 22nd. We are now setting south on 21st from Hampton, south of Hampton, on occupants group 10, speeds approximately 50 miles an hour. Westbound on Purdue. We're going to go westbound. Appears to be 2 occupants. Passenger has a black hoodie. Westbound on Purdue, 22. Passenger 3, speeds approximately 58. Coming up to 24. We're north on 24 towards Hampton. Disregarded the stop at Hampton, on 24th to northbound. 7270, infantry that white Kia Sportage, Victor William Boyd, 169, disregarded the stop at 24th starts to northbound. 2 occupants.
The chase unfolded across Hampton Avenue, 21st Street, and Highway 45 under harsh winter conditions. Snow-covered roads made every turn unstable. Yet the suspect continued driving aggressively, running red lights and stop signs at major intersections. Even at speeds near 60 miles per hour, the conditions turned the pursuit into a high-risk situation where traction was minimal and control could be lost at any moment. Officers stayed committed despite the growing danger.
Southbound 45, from Hampton. Just started, Andy William Boyd, 69, Highway right. Wanted for the induction, still south on 45. Come on, come down. Still south on 45, still south on 45. Come on to Congress, east and west. Congress here. Control. Break, bail.
The pursuit reached its breaking point near Congress Street. The suspect lost control on the icy roadway, and within seconds, both the Kia and a pursuing squad car slid off the road, broke through the frozen surface, and plunged into an icy creek below.
What the fuck is about? Pull out! Pull out! Oh my God, there! Oh my God, come on!
Despite the crash and freezing conditions, officers acted immediately. They moved in, secured the suspects, and placed both individuals into custody. Both suspects' teenagers were transported to the hospital. One officer sustained a leg injury during the crash. A firearm was also recovered at the scene. What began as a kidnapping-related pursuit ended in a freezing plunge, proving that when control is lost in extreme conditions, the outcome can be unpredictable for everyone involved.